Go into a forest and turn over almost any log and you're certain to find a mass of invertebrates. Many of the things you'll find are insects like this beetle. In fact, at the moment, almost half of all of the known species on the planet are insects. That's just under 1 million. And I have to tell you that unbelievably, every year we're still discovering hundreds of new insect species. And with so many different species, working out whether you've found something new would be almost impossible without a simple but brilliant system to organise them. In the 1700s, Swedish scientist Carl Linnaeus came up with taxonomy, a system which divides every living thing into class, order, family, genus and species. Let me explain. Imagine you feel a bit peckish, fancy a snack, and you think to yourself, I'd really like a good old Cox's British apple. So you sort of pop into a supermarket, but when you get there, none of the products that they sell are in any sort of order. They're just randomly placed on the shelves. Well, then think about it. Finding that Cox's would be almost impossible. Thankfully, supermarkets don't do this. They use a system which is very similar to the science of taxonomy. They classify things and then they put them in order. So class, well, that would be fruit and veg, and then you'd have order, fruit, and then you'd have family. Well, that could be orchard fruit. And then you've got genus, apples, and finally, species, well, that would be Cox's. And here is the Cox's of my dream, and it took me less than a minute to find it, proving that taxonomy works even in supermarkets. Professor Quinton Wheeler is an entomologist, and he's director of the International Institute for Species Exploration. Today, he's in Arizona, looking for a new species of beetle.
For me, every time I go collecting, it's analogous to an astronaut setting foot on a new planet, where everything you see is unusual and new. Life on Earth is so poorly known, with 90% of the species awaiting discovery and description. And so this level of discovery, it truly is one of the last major frontiers of humanity.
Meet the longest insect on the planet, Chan's megastick. This stick insect measures precisely 56.7 centimetres in length. That's almost as long as my arm.
And if you think about the equivalent in botany or zoology, it would be finding the blue whale or a redwood tree this late. And for me, it just really is emblematic of how little we know about the diversity of insects, that the largest one could have escaped our attention until the 21st century.
Despite its enormous size, virtually nothing is known about it. Scientists believe it lives high up in the rainforest canopy, which has made it hard to find and kept it a secret until now. And you know, insects are at the foundation of our ecosystem, so to find new species and work out their role, well, that's pretty crucial, really.
It's been said several times by several famous biologists that humans could disappear tomorrow and the rest of biodiversity would go on and hardly take notice. But if the insects disappeared tomorrow, virtually every terrestrial ecosystem would collapse overnight.
This is my old school playground in Southampton. Some things never change. But imagine if this school didn't have a register. They wouldn't know how many children are here, which children are here, if any of the children were missing, or if any new kids had turned up. It would, of course, ultimately just be chaos. Thankfully, of course, they do have a register, but a similar problem is experienced by the world's scientists, because unbelievably, there is no central register for all of the world's known species. And as a consequence of that, some of them have been named several times over. Yes, recently one rather unprepossessing species of sponge was discovered to have been given 56 different names. marine scientists have been attempting to deal with this issue, and to that end they've conducted a thorough census of the marine environment, and it's given rise to the discovery of no less than 6,000 new species, bringing the total up to around 250,000. But given that we've only explored 5% of this, the self-same scientists think that there could be as many as 1 million different species living in our oceans. That says only one thing to me: there's plenty more to be discovered.